Greetings, everybody, and welcome to NycosRPG. This short video is going to be a quick explainer for what the NycosRPG system is and is not. We're going to go over it as quickly as we can. We just have a couple of points that need to be differentiated for this purpose. The first is the persona discovery process. This is not a character development process. In many roleplay games, you build a character, and that creation process suddenly spawns a person in the form of a toon or a play analog equivalency, I guess, for the individual in the system, so that the storyteller and the players can coordinate their actions to define who that person is playing, what role they are portraying. And in the intervening years since the process was originally created, roleplay games have looked at this creation process in many different ways, to the point in modern era time that when we create a character, we are fundamentally creating a mechanism whereby we can wish fulfill in that role. The difference in the NycosRPG system, the thing that distinguishes it, is that your persona that you are developing is actually a living being in the fictional world of NycosRPG, whether it be in the Dark Shards fantasy setting or the Distant Suns science fiction space adventure environment or whatever. But the persona's existence in that place becomes, if you will, real. The association between the player and the character becomes more clearly defined. This process follows a rather innovative process by developing the character's original foundation or base. Then discussing in fantasy settings, you would have species issues, but they were tapped under the word race for mnemonic process purposes. And then you discuss the place, where the character is from, what its roots are, how it came to be developed, and such like. Then you've got the estates, the things that player owns, and such like. So this process, base, race, place, and estates, kind of gives a rhythmic way of remembering what the pieces are to do the creation, and the information that is derived is different from a standard roleplay game. We'll go into those in a moment. This process, therefore, is the first step that differentiates it, because you are not creating the character, but rather defining your role in the story in the basis of that character. The second thing that makes the game different is that instead of having numbers that define the clarifying attributes, which can be modified over time, whether a person intrinsically becomes stronger, faster, more clever, more dexterous, etc. Instead of following those kinds of conventions, this mechanism utilizes a base die rolling system derived from the character's natural state, but adjusted heavily by the skills that the character develops. And so it's a character skills-based system. Numerically or mathematically, the system is percentage-based to make it intuitive, so that when you are looking at the percentage chance of something occurring, we all can know that, for example, 25% is 1/4 of the possibilities, or 1/4 of the possibilities. But we don't have to switch to a different die to accomplish that. We can roll percentage dice for everything in the game, and thereby maintain some form of stability. That being said, every characteristic, and in this case we're talking about character's development, each skill that the character takes on is advanceable at all times. So every session, every time a skill is used within a system, within the daily event or game session, they can be advanced by a incremental amount to allow for the character's advancement or development to be in the hands of the player, not in the hands of the character. And that continuous process means that there is no need to create a numeric uh, danger rating or threat rating or whatever you want to call it. There's no need to worry about awarding points for accomplishment. The players add the accomplishments themselves simply by taking on and dealing with the skills they wish to advance over time. And then finally, yes, the scalar conflict system means that all challenges or conflicts in the game come down to one of three categories. And the first category would be a challenge, whereby the skill itself is tested. And the die rolling is really simple. In that case, it has a mechanism that makes for variance, which is proprietary, I suppose, to the system. It's specifically designed because of the NycosRPG, but it is something that will, in understanding the meaning of the die roll, adds additional levels of nuance that just simply haven't existed. In other words, from a single die roll, you're getting 4 results instead of just 1. I'll go more into that in a minute. But the idea here is that conflict scales under the challenge, which is a comparison with the skill itself, contest, where 2 skills are comparatively challenged. So each player rolls against their individual skill. Easiest example I can give for this is the idea of one person attempting to hide from the other, and the second person attempting to find the one who is trying to hide. And so each one rolls against their skill, and then we determine between the 2 numbers what level of appropriateness the stealth work, how well did the players succeed. This gives, therefore, nuanced results from single die rolls. Therefore, the story development happens in a faster fashion, and we don't have the combat log. So the third, of course, would be direct conflict. And conflict can take a couple of different forms. There's conflict where you're harrying or bothering or countering somebody's activity, and the others where you're physically attempting to deal damage to them. And those are new. That seems like maybe perhaps a small nuance, but it's actually rather considerable when you determine what the purpose is for the engagement. Are you actually attempting to harm the person, or are you simply trying to prevent them from accomplishing a task? And so these all fall into one of 3 categories. Again, a challenge, a contest, or a conflict. And so we'll go into those in particular in a later video, but I wanted to give differentiation that the system is streamlined so that we spend more time in the role play aspect of the game and far less in the mechanical resolution of engagements in interactions with items and with stuff in the game. So that covers the 3 that I wanted to cover in this video. We'll do another one a little bit later that talks about the mechanisms for how to do each of these separate sections and be more of an explainer. But I wanted to get this video out so that we have it for history, to be able to show what the Nycos system is. In the next video, we'll do a more direct comparative breakdown between traditional roleplay games and the NycosRPG system. Thank you very much for attending this video, and I will see you in the next one. I'm Jonathan Albin, GameMasterJ. Thanks.